The warning sirens wailed across the Narian colony as atmosphere readings plummeted into the danger zone. Within minutes, ships of every size launched frantically into orbit, leaving clouds of dust and panic in their wake. The evacuation order had been clear: immediate departure, no exceptions. Shrill clutched his three offspring to his chest, their delicate respiratory tendrils curling in distress. His mate, Laura, frantically packed survival supplies, her usually calm blue skin now pale with fear. "The last transport leaves in 20 minutes, she said, voice trembling. "We need to hurry." Their youngest, barely a season old, squeaked in discomfort as toxic gases began seeping through the settlement's failing environmental shields. The atmospheric processors had failed catastrophically after the meteor strike, and the air was rapidly becoming unbreathable from Narian physiology. When they reached the spaceport, chaos reigned. Officials from the Galactic Union were turning away those deemed non-essential, prioritizing political figures and wealthy merchants. The promised evacuation ships had been fewer than expected. "Please," Trill begged a uniformed official from the dominant Vexar species, "my children cannot survive these conditions much longer." The official's 6 eyes blinked in practiced indifference. "Capacity has been reached. The Galactic Union regrets to inform you that your family has not been cleared for evacuation." Behind them, other species, the militaristic Crolians, the trade-focused Bentari, even their fellow Narians who had secured passage, all averted their gazes, hurrying past the desperate family. "But they'll die," Laura whispered, clutching their middle child as it began to wheeze. "That is regrettable," replied the official before turning away. Trill and Laura retreated to the outskirts of the spaceport, watching helplessly as the final ships prepared for departure. Their dwelling was too far to return to, and the portable air filters they carried would last perhaps another day at most. As night fell, they huddled together in the abandoned maintenance shed, trying to comfort their increasingly distressed children. The colony had gone silent save for the howling wind carrying toxic particles. They were truly alone until they weren't. The rumble came first, a deep, mechanical growling unlike the sleek propulsion systems of Galactic Union vessels. Then came lights, harsh and bright, cutting through the poisonous haze. Laura tensed, pulling the children closer. Who would come back? The answer materialized in the form of a bulky, clearly retrofitted ship bearing unfamiliar markings. It landed with none of the grace of Union vessels, sending dust billowing around it. When the ramp descended, 4 figures emerged wearing environmental suits that appeared almost primitive compared to Union technology. They moved with purpose, scanning the area until spotting the alien family. One approached, removing their helmet to reveal a face Trill recognized from xenobiology databases. Human. Their colony had a small human contingent, recent arrivals to the galactic scene and still viewed with suspicion by established species. "I'm Tom," the human said through a translator. "We picked up your life signs. You need to come with us now." Trill hesitated. Humans were unpredictable, their motives often indecipherable to more logical species. But the youngest offspring's respiratory tendrils had begun to shrivel, a fatal sign. "Why help us when our own people left?" Laura asked. The human named Tom looked genuinely confused by the question. "Because you need help. That's enough reason." With no choice, they followed the humans aboard their vessel. Inside, the ship was cramped and utilitarian, nothing like the elegant Union transports. But it had been modified with a sealed chamber where the atmosphere had been adjusted to Narian requirements. "It's not perfect," explained a human called Rita, "but it should keep you alive until we reach the outpost on Proxima Station." As they lifted off, Shrill watched through a viewport as other human vessels scoured the colony, searching for more survivors. Their own people, the sophisticated Vexar, the militant Crolians, all had abandoned the colony without looking back once their own kind were safe. "I don't understand," Shrill said as Rita checked on their children's condition. "Humans have no obligation to Narians. We hold no political influence, no valuable resources to trade." Rita shrugged, a curiously human gesture. "We don't need a reason beyond. It's the right thing to do. Your kids remind me of my nieces and nephews back home. Different looking, sure, but kids all the same." Over the next days in transit, Trill and Laura learned that the humans had defied direct orders from Union officials by returning to the colony. They risked sanctions, even expulsion from galactic territories. Worth it, Tom had said simply when Trill expressed concern about their sacrifice. By the time they reached Proxima Station, news of the humans' actions had spread. Other species watched with a mixture of bewilderment and newfound respect as the ragtag fleet arrived with hundreds of rescued colonists, primarily those deemed non-essential by Union standards. As they disembarked, an official Vexor delegation waited, clearly uncomfortable. The Union acknowledges the unexpected assistance provided by human forces, announced their representative stiffly. However, protocols exist for reason. Save it, interrupted an older human called Jack. While you were holding committee meetings about evacuation quotas, we loaded up every ship we had. Maybe next time you'll remember there's no such thing as non-essential people. Later, as their children slept safely in the station's medical bay, Laura turned to Trill. They're so young in galactic terms, she mused. Humans have barely left their home system compared to other species. Trill nodded. Perhaps that's why they still see clearly what others have forgotten. The Union has existed for millennia, but today I wonder if humans might be the ones to truly unite us all. Outside their window, human ships continued arriving with more survivors, defying conventions and expectations, just as humans always seem to do.